It is a cold night. The wind is biting and sharp. The train station is dark and empty. A young man sits alone on a wooden bench. He is shivering. He is not shivering just because of the cold. He is shivering because of the shame. Just a few minutes ago, he was sitting inside a warm train. He had a first-class ticket. He paid for his seat with his own money. But he was not allowed to stay. Why? Because of the color of his skin. The train guards threw him out. They threw his bags onto the dirty platform. They did not care about his ticket. They did not care about his rights. They only saw a man who was not white. In that dark night, this young man had to make a choice. He could go back home to India. He could hide. He could accept the unfair world. Or he could stand up. He could fight. This young man was not a soldier. He did not have a gun. He was shy. He was quiet. He was afraid of many things. But on that cold night, a fire started inside him. A fire that would burn down an empire. This is the story of Mohandas Gandhi. This is the story of how a scared boy became a great soul. He changed the history of the world, and he did it without a single weapon. Let us begin this journey, step by step. Part 1. The Boy Afraid of the Dark. Let us travel back in time, back to October 2nd, 1869. In a small, quiet town called Porbandar, in Gujarat, India, a baby boy was born. His parents named him Mohandas Gandhi. At that time, nobody knew this tiny baby would one day change the world. Nobody knew he would become the Mahatma, the great soul. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was an important man in the town. He was a chief minister. His mother, Putlibai, was a deeply religious woman. She spent her days in prayer. She often fasted, going without food for days to show her devotion. She lived a very simple life. Her quiet strength and deep belief made a huge impression on young Mohandas. He watched his mother pray. He watched her choose peace. He learned from her every single day. But as a little boy, Mohandas was not strong. He was not brave. He was not a leader. In fact, he was incredibly shy. He was a quiet child who ran home from school every day. Why? Because he was too afraid to talk to other children. He was afraid they would laugh at him. He was afraid of being noticed. He was afraid of many things. He was afraid of the dark. He was afraid of ghosts. He was afraid of thieves. He was afraid of snakes. Every night, when the sun went down, his heart would beat fast. He could not sleep without a light in his room. He could not face the darkness alone. It feels strange, does it not? The man who stood up to a great empire was once a little boy who could not sleep in the dark. This shows us something beautiful. Great leaders are not born brave. They learn to become brave. Even though he was scared, young Mohandas had a big heart. He loved stories. He loved listening to the ancient Indian tales, like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. He read about heroes who always told the truth. He read about people who chose good over evil. These stories stayed in his mind. They became his guide. When Mohandas was only 13 years old, his life changed forever. He was married to a young girl named Kasturba. She was the same age as him. In India, at that time, child marriage was a common custom. It was a very young age to start a family. It was a heavy responsibility for a young boy. Kasturba was a strong woman. She was independent. She had a quiet power of her own. Mohandas often said he learned a lot from his wife. She stood by him through everything. She supported him when he was weak. She walked with him when his journey became difficult. This was the beginning of his life. A shy boy. A scared boy. A boy who feared the dark. But inside him, a seed of truth was already growing. Part 2. The Law Student and the Failed Lawyer. As the years passed, the shy boy grew into a young man. At the age of 18, in the year 1888, Mohandas made a big decision. He decided to leave India. He wanted to go to London, England, to study law. Imagine how terrifying this was for him. He had never left his home country before. He did not know anyone in England. He did not speak English very well. Before he left, his mother made him promise something. She made him promise not to touch meat, alcohol, or women. Mohandas loved his mother. He gave her his word. He promised to stay true to his roots. When he arrived in London, everything was different. The streets were crowded and cold. The people looked different. They spoke fast. They ate different food. Mohandas felt completely lost. He struggled to speak. Every time he tried to talk to people, his throat felt dry. He felt so lonely. He missed his family. He missed the warm Indian sun. Many times, he wanted to pack his bags and run back home. But he did not give up. He kept his promise to his mother. It was very hard to find vegetarian food in London at that time. Often, he had to walk miles just to find a simple meal. He cooked his own food. He lived very simply. During this lonely time in London, Mohandas started to read. He read many books. He did not just read law books. He read about different religions. He read the Bhagavad Gita, the holy book of his own Hindu faith. He read the Christian Bible. He read about Islam. This was a very important moment in his life. He realized something beautiful. He saw that all these different religions taught the same thing. They all taught love. They all taught truth. They all taught peace. This belief stayed with him forever. In 1891, Mohandas finished his studies. He was now a lawyer. He felt proud. He returned to India, ready to start his career. He wanted to make his family proud. But life had other plans. When he walked into a courtroom in India, his old fear returned. He had to speak in front of a judge. He stood up. He looked at the people. His heart started to pound. His hands started to shake. His mind went completely blank. He could not say a single word. He was too nervous. He was too scared. He had to sit down. He had to hand his case to another lawyer. It feels terrible to fail. It feels terrible when your dreams slip away. Mohandas felt like a complete failure. He had spent years studying in London. His family had spent so much money. And now, he could not even speak in court. He could not earn a living. He wondered if he would ever be successful. He wondered if his life had any purpose. Then, in 1893, a letter arrived. A businessman named Dada Abdullah needed a lawyer. He needed someone to help him with a business problem in South Africa. The job was only for 1 year. Mohandas did not want to go. He was afraid of going to another strange land, but he had no other choice. He had to earn money. He packed his bags. He said goodbye to his wife and family. He got on a ship to South Africa. He thought he was going for a short, simple job. He did not know that this trip would change him forever. He did not know that the shy, failed lawyer was about to disappear. Part 3. The Spark in South Africa. When Mohandas stepped off the ship in South Africa, he did not know what was waiting for him. He thought he was just there to do a job. He thought he would stay for 1 year. But South Africa was a different world. It was a world of anger. It was a world of division. At that time, the British ruled South Africa. There was a deep line between white people and people of color. Indian people lived there. But they were not treated like human beings. They were treated like second-class citizens. They had no rights. They had no voice. Then, the moment came. The moment that changed everything. Mohandas had to travel from Durban to Pretoria. He bought a first-class train ticket. He sat down in his seat. He was dressed in a nice suit. He looked like a professional lawyer. But a white passenger walked in. The passenger looked at Mohandas. He did not like what he saw. He went to the train officials. The officials came to Mohandas. They told him to leave. They told him to go to the third-class carriage. But Mohandas refused. He said, "I have a first-class ticket. I paid for this seat. I will not move." The officials did not care about his ticket. They did not care about his words. They called the police. They grabbed Mohandas. They threw him off the train. His bags were thrown onto the cold platform. The train pulled away, leaving him behind in the dark. It was a freezing night. Mohandas sat in the railway station. He did not have his coat. It was in his luggage. He shivered from the cold. But inside, he was burning. He asked himself, "What should I do? Should I fight back with my fists? Should I go back to India? Or should I stand up for what is right?" He saw that this was not just about him. It was about every Indian in South Africa. Every day, they faced this pain. Every day, they faced this shame. He decided to stay. He decided to fight. But he would not fight with anger. He would not fight with weapons. He created a new way to fight. He called it satyagraha. It means the force of truth. It means holding on to truth with love. For 21 years, Mohandas stayed in South Africa. He became the voice of the voiceless. Every time the government made an unfair law, he organized a peaceful protest. Every time they tried to make Indians carry special identity passes, he told the people to burn them. He stood in front of a big crowd. They gathered around a large fire. They threw their passes into the flames. One by one, they chose to be free. He started the community called the Tolstoy Farm. Here, people lived together. They grew their own food. They made their own clothes. They practiced living with truth and peace. They learned that they did not need expensive things to be strong. In 1913, he led a massive march. Thousands of Indian men and women walked across the border. They walked to protest against unfair laws. The police beat them. The police put them in jail. But they did not hit back. They just kept walking. Their peace was more powerful than the police weapons. The world started to watch. The British government had to listen. Mohandas entered South Africa as a shy, quiet lawyer. He left South Africa as a strong, brave leader. He learned how to stand up. He learned how to lead. He was now ready to go home. Part 4. The Tears of India. In 1915, Mohandas came back to India. He was 45 years old. He had been away from his homeland for 21 years. In South Africa, he had become a famous leader. People in India already knew his name. They were waiting for him. They hoped he would save them. But Mohandas did not jump into politics right away. He did not make big speeches. He did not try to lead. His teacher, a wise man, gave him some advice. He told Mohandas to keep his mouth closed and his eyes open. He told him to travel. He told him to see the real India first. So, Mohandas bought a third-class train ticket. Just like the poorest people, he traveled across the vast land of India. He went from city to city. He went from village to village. What did he see? He did not see a rich and proud country. He saw a country that was bleeding. He saw a country that was crying. He saw hungry children with thin arms. He saw tired farmers working under the burning sun. He saw families living in tiny huts with no clean water. He saw a broken nation. The British Empire was taking everything. They took the food. They took the land. They took the money. The people of India had nothing left but their tears. It feels painful to see your home country suffer. It feels heavy to carry the pain of millions. Every time Mohandas looked at a poor villager, he felt a pain in his own heart. He decided that he could not live like a rich lawyer anymore. He took off his fine Western clothes. He threw away his shoes. He started wearing a simple piece of white cloth. He started walking barefoot. He wanted to look like the poorest Indian. He wanted to feel what they felt. His first big test came in a place called Champaran, in Bihar. The farmers there were in deep trouble. The British landowners forced them to grow indigo. Indigo is a plant used to make blue dye for clothes. It is not food. You cannot eat indigo. The farmers wanted to grow rice. They wanted to grow wheat to feed their hungry families. But the British said no. They forced them to grow indigo. And then they paid the farmers almost nothing. The farmers were starving. They were crying for help. Mohandas went to Champaran. He did not bring an army. He did not bring weapons. He just brought a pen and paper. He went to the villages. He sat with the farmers. He listened to their stories. He wrote down everything they said. The British police got angry. They told Mohandas to leave Champaran immediately. But Mohandas refused. He said, "I am here to help my people. I will not leave." They arrested him. They took him to court. But thousands of poor farmers gathered outside the courthouse. They stood there quietly. They did not throw stones. They did not shout angry words. They just stood there. The British government was shocked. They had never seen anything like this. They realized they could not control these quiet, peaceful people. They had to let Mohandas go. They had to change the law. The farmers were finally free to grow their own food. This was his first big victory in India. It proved that peaceful resistance could win. During this time, Mohandas also realized something very important. To defeat a great empire, India had to be united. But India was divided. There were Hindus and there were Muslims. The British loved this division. They used it to keep their power. Mohandas worked hard to bring them together. In 1919, he supported the Khilafat movement, a movement led by Muslims. He told the Hindu people, "We must stand with our Muslim brothers. We must fight together as one family." This was a beautiful moment of unity. Hindus and Muslims walked hand in hand. They showed the world that they were not different. They were all children of India. Part 5. Saltcloth and Freedom. By 1920, Mohandas was the heartbeat of the nation. He wanted to show the British that they could not rule India without the help of Indians. He knew that the empire only had power because the people obeyed. He asked the people to stop. Stop buying British clothes. Stop drinking British tea. Stop working for British offices. Stop sending children to British schools. Instead, he asked them to make their own clothes. He sat down with a simple wooden spinning wheel, a charka, and started spinning his own cloth, called khadi. Think about this. A man with no weapons, sitting on the floor, spinning thread. This simple act became a giant symbol of freedom. Millions of people did the same. They burned their expensive foreign clothes in huge fires. They wore simple, white, homemade clothes. They felt proud. They felt united. But then, a dark shadow fell. In 1922, in a small village called Jodi Joda, some angry protesters lost control. They set a police station on fire. 22 policemen died in the flames. When Mohandas heard this, he was heartbroken. He did not care that the movement was winning. He did not care that the British were scared. He said, "No, this is not my way. This is not the way of truth." He stopped the entire movement immediately. Many leaders were angry with him. They said, "We are so close to winning. Why stop now?" But Mohandas was firm. He believed that a clean goal must be reached with clean hands. He would rather lose than win with blood on his hands. 8 years passed. The fire of freedom was still burning. In 1930, the British made a very unfair law. They took control of all the salt in India. They made it illegal for Indians to collect or make their own salt. They put a heavy tax on it. Salt is a simple thing. Everyone needs it. Rich people need it. Poor people need it. To tax salt was to tax the life of the poorest person. Mohandas decided to walk. He did not write a letter of protest. He did not start a war. He just started walking. On March 12th, 1930, he left his home, his ashram in Sabarmati, with 78 followers. They were walking to a tiny seaside village called Dandi. It was 240 miles away. He was 60 years old. He walked with a wooden staff. Day after day, he walked under the hot sun. As he walked, people came out of their houses. They watched him. They joined him. First there were hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands. The line of people was miles long. On April 6th, they reached the sea. Mohandas walked down to the wet sand. He bent down. He picked up a small handful of salty mud. He held it up to the sky. He said, "With this, I am shaking the foundations of the British Empire." This simple act of picking up salt was a spark. Across India, millions of people started making their own salt. They defied the British law. The British did not know what to do. They arrested Mohandas. They arrested 90,000 people. But they could not stop the ocean of people. Every time they arrested him, he grew stronger. Every time they beat his followers, the movement grew bigger. Every time they threw him in prison, his voice became louder. Years later, in 1942, during the Great World War, Mohandas made his loudest call. He started the Quit India movement. He gave the people a simple slogan, "Do or die." He said, "We shall either free India or die in the attempt." The British arrested him immediately. They locked him away, but it was too late. The fire could not be put out. The people of India were ready. They would not stop until they were free. And finally, after years of tears, after years of quiet courage, the day came. On August 15th, 1947, the British flag came down. The Indian flag went up. India was free. Part 6A, Broken Heart and the Final Walk. On the day of victory, there were no smiles on his face. August 15th, 1947, was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. The British were leaving. India was free. But Mohandas was not celebrating. He was not in the capital city. He was not holding a flag. He was sitting in a dark room, crying. Why was he crying? Because his beautiful dream of a united India was broken. The country was divided into two, India and Pakistan. The land was split, and so were the hearts of the people. This division brought a dark storm of anger and fear. Millions of Hindus and Sikhs had to leave their homes in Pakistan. They had to walk miles to India. Millions of Muslims had to leave India and run to Pakistan. It was the biggest movement of people in history, and it was a bloody movement. Neighbors who had lived together for years became enemies. Friends turned against friends. Homes were burned. Children lost their parents. The air was filled with screams and smoke. Mohandas was now 78 years old. His body was thin. His hair was white. His health was weak. But he could not sit and watch this pain. He could not let his people destroy each other. He decided to go to the places where the fighting was worst. He went to Calcutta. He went to Delhi. He walked barefoot through the mud. He walked through streets stained with blood. He did not bring guards. He did not bring soldiers. He walked right into the middle of angry crowds. He looked at them with tears in his eyes. He said, "Why are we doing this? We are all children of the same God. Why are we killing our brothers?" But the anger was too deep. Words were not enough. So, Mohandas used his ultimate weapon, his own body. He started a hunger strike. He announced that he would not eat. He would not drink a single drop of water until the violence stopped. He said, "I will fast until my death, or until you stop fighting." Think about this. An old, fragile man risking his life to stop a war. Day after day, he grew weaker. He could not stand up. He could not speak. His organs started to fail. The doctors cried. The world held its breath. The people looked at this dying old man. They saw his sacrifice. They realized what they were doing. A wave of shame swept over the crowds. In Kolkata, angry men came to his bed. They dropped their weapons on the floor. They cried. They promised they would never fight again. They begged him to eat. In Delhi, Hindus and Muslims came together. They held hands. They made a promise of peace. His hunger strike had done what armies could not do. He had brought peace with his own pain. He did not use a microphone. He did not use an army. He used his own life. But the danger was not over. The shadows were still waiting in the dark. Part 7. 3 Bullets and a Global Legacy. January 30th, 1948. It was a warm, quiet evening in Delhi. The sun was beginning to set, casting long, orange shadows across the grass. At Birla House, a crowd of people was waiting. They gathered there every evening. They did not come for a show. They came to pray. They came to see the old man, to hear his gentle voice, to find peace. Mohandas was weak. His body was still recovering from his fast. He walked slowly, leaning on the shoulders of his grandnieces, his living walking sticks. He walked toward the wooden platform where the prayer meeting was held. He smiled at the people. He put his hands together in a traditional greeting of respect. Suddenly, a man stepped out from the crowd. His name was Nathuram Godse. He was not a stranger from another land. He was an Indian. He was angry. He believed that Mohandas was too kind to Muslims. He believed that Mohandas was responsible for dividing their beloved country. He walked quickly toward the old man. He bowed slightly, as if to show respect, but he did not want to bow. He reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small black gun. Before anyone could understand what was happening, 3 loud sounds broke the quiet evening. Bang, bang, bang. 3 bullets hit Mohandas in the chest. Red blood began to spread across his clean, white cotton clothes. His body began to fall. He did not scream. He did not curse his killer. He did not show anger. As he fell to the ground, he raised his hands. He spoke his very last words. Hey, Ram. Hey, Ram. Oh God. Oh God. Then there was silence. The great soul was gone. The news of his death spread like wildfire. It crossed oceans. It went to every corner of the earth. The world was in shock. In India, millions of people cried in the streets. They felt like they had lost their own father. The shops closed. The houses went dark. A great darkness seemed to fall over the land. They took his body to the holy river Ganga. Millions of people followed his final journey. They threw flowers. They sang his favorite songs. They cried for the man who had given them their freedom. But the man who pulled the trigger did not understand something. You can kill a body, but you cannot kill an idea. You can stop a heart, but you cannot stop a dream. The physical body of Mohandas Gandhi was gone, but his spirit was more alive than ever. His words did not die. His message of peace traveled across the world. Years later, in America, a young man named Martin Luther King Jr. read about Gandhi. He learned how Gandhi fought a great empire without a gun. He used the same peaceful methods to fight for the rights of his people. In South Africa, a man named Nelson Mandela sat in a tiny prison cell for 27 years. He thought about Gandhi's journey. He used the power of peace and forgiveness to bring down a cruel system of racism. The shy boy who was once afraid of the dark had left a light that would shine forever. He showed the world that love is always stronger than hate. He proved that a simple man, with nothing but truth in his heart, can change the course of history. Part 8. 5 Lessons from a Great Soul. Now, let us look at his life. Let us listen to his voice. His physical body is gone, but his wisdom is still here. He left us 5 powerful lessons. These lessons are not just for history books. They are for you. They are for your daily life. They are for your dreams. Lesson 1. Non-violence is the greatest power. We often think that to be strong, we must be loud. We think we must fight back with anger. We think we must use force. But Mohandas showed us a different way. He showed us that quiet peace is stronger than any weapon. Think about your own life. When someone is angry with you, what do? Do you shout back? Do you get angry? It is easy to be angry. It is very easy to shout. But it takes real strength to remain calm. It takes courage to choose peace. Every time you choose kindness over anger, you are being strong. Every time you listen instead of fighting, you are practicing peace. Remember, peace is not weak. Peace is the ultimate power. Lesson 2. Stay true to your own truth. Mohandas called his life an experiment with truth. For him, truth was not just about telling the facts. It was about living honestly. It was about being true to who you are. In this world, people will try to change you. They will tell you what to wear. They will tell you how to speak. They will tell you that your dreams are too big. They might say you are not smart enough. But you must stay true to yourself. You must listen to that quiet voice inside your heart. If you believe in something, do not let others pull you down. Stand up for your values. Walk your own path. Even if you are walking alone, stay true to your truth. Lesson 3. Small actions can change the world. When Mohandas started spinning his own cloth, people laughed. When he walked to the sea to pick up salt, people thought it was a small, silly thing. How can a handful of salt defeat an empire? But he showed us that small steps lead to giant changes. Sometimes you might feel too small. You might look at your big goals and feel afraid. You might think, what can I do? I'm just one person. But remember, a giant forest starts with a single seed. A long journey starts with a single step. Every time you help someone, you change the world. Every time you study one page, you get closer to your dream. Do not look at the whole mountain. Just take one small step today. Lesson 4. Simplicity is the key to happiness. Mohandas did not live in a palace. He did not have expensive clothes. He did not have money. He owned a spinning wheel, a pair of glasses, and a simple cloth. Yet, he was one of the happiest and most peaceful men on earth. Today, we are always chasing more. We want a better phone. We want expensive clothes. We want more things. We think these things will make us happy. But true happiness does not come from what you own. It comes from who you are. It comes from helping others. It comes from a clean heart. Try to live simply. Focus on what truly matters. Gratitude, love, and kindness. You will find that you do not need much to be truly happy. Lesson 5. Never, ever give up. Think about the struggles of Mohandas. He was thrown off a train. He was beaten. He was put in prison many times. People laughed at him. His own friends doubted him. But he never stopped. He kept walking. He once said, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win." This is a lesson for your life. When you try to achieve your dreams, you will face obstacles. You will fail once. You will fail twice, maybe 100 times. People might laugh at your dreams. They might tell you to give up. But every failure is just a lesson. Every fall is just a chance to stand up stronger. As long as you keep going, you cannot be defeated. Keep your head up. Keep moving forward. Never, ever give up. As we look back at this incredible journey, we see a very simple truth. Mahatma Gandhi was not a king. He did not live in a palace. He did not have a great army. He was just an ordinary human being, just like you and me. He had fears. He had failures. He had moments of deep sadness. But he had something else. He had an unstoppable belief. He believed that love is always stronger than hate. He believed that truth will always win. He did not wait for the world to change. He changed himself first. He showed us that one person can make a difference. One person can shake a great empire. Now, the question is for you. What will you do with your life? What change do you want to see in your world? Remember his beautiful words. Be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with you. It starts with a single step today. Keep your head high. Keep going. And never give up. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope it touched your heart. Which part of Gandhi's life inspired you the most? Was it his courage on the train? Or his long walk to the sea? Please share your thoughts with me. I would love to read them. Until next time, stay strong and keep believing in yourself.